So I know we're all trying to reduce, control, maybe even eradicate anxiety, but what if I told you that you're very probably exacerbating and perpetuating your state of high anxiety yourself, thanks to a few easily changed habits that you're currently engaging in? In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the 6 habits you need to break to finally overcome your anxiety issues. So welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time, I'm Tim Box. I'm a mind coach, and for more than a decade now, I've been working with people to help them overcome all sorts of emotional and psychological issues, and in particular, helping them get control of anxiety. So if you want some simple tips and advice about all this stuff, then hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's do this. The desire to keep others happy is one of the main drivers behind many people's anxiety, and this is why it's one of the first habits you need to break. One of the most common origin stories for something like social anxiety is our experience of garnering negative attention from others as a child. Maybe we were aware of disappointing our parents in some way, perhaps we struggled to receive the love we craved, or maybe during our formative years we attracted some degree of bullying from our peers. There can be a wide range of reasons why we might grow up not quite feeling like we're good enough. We then fall into the trap of placing an exaggerated level of importance on the opinions of others. We spend all our time and energy trying to please people in the hopes that they might give us the validation we desperately need. However, no matter how much good we do, how much we sacrifice to help others, or how much positive validation we receive, we never feel good about ourselves in the way we desperately want to. And that's because ultimately we have no control over what other people think, and we can't keep everyone happy at all times. The reality of this inevitably leads to an anxious existence as we try to achieve the impossible. The simple fact is that you're the only person that can ultimately decide whether or not you're good enough, and you're not here to simply service the happiness of others anyway. Helping others when we can is great and can provide us with huge feelings of self-worth, but people-pleasing to the point of self-sacrifice is a never-ending road of dissatisfaction and unhappiness, and it's the first bad habit you need to break to get back in control of anxiety. When it comes to our emotional responses, they can very much feel like things that just happen to us rather than things we have control of. I'll often see clients who attribute their high anxiety levels to the fact that they have anxiety. However, that's not true. The truth is a little bit more empowering than that. Every emotional response we have, including anxiety, is not something that happens, but a deliberate doing by a part of our mind. It might be outside of our conscious awareness and feel like something we aren't directly controlling, but as soon as we simply frame anxiety as something that happens, then we relinquish any degree of control and accept the role of victim in our own story. Anxiety is never for no reason, no matter how much it can feel like it. Getting control of it is often simply about understanding what we've learned to currently cause us to feel this way and what we need to learn so that we don't have to anymore. Yes, this can be a process, but the truth is that you're not simply a victim of your own emotions. You weren't born anxious, and you can get control of your anxiety response. But that process can only start when we stop entertaining the idea that we are powerless and break that habit of explaining the way we feel as being because we have anxiety. I've lost count of the times a client has told me that they'll get back to work when they feel better, or they'll start exercising again when they're past all this anxiety. And I totally get why we might put life on hold a little whilst we don't completely feel normal. But if we fence post time to feel anxious, then guess what our mind is going to do with that time? In fact, a very effective way of getting past anxiety is to keep going about your daily life exactly as you would have done, and instead of putting the focus on how anxious you feel in the face of certain challenges, instead put your focus on the fact that you can still do these things and anxiety itself doesn't stop you. Instead of framing each activity as difficult, frame it as achievable. This will ultimately allow you to downgrade the perceived impact of anxiety on your daily life. Yes, it might feel unpleasant at times, but it ultimately isn't a big enough issue to divert you from your day-to-day journey. It can be a liberating moment when we discover the way we currently feel doesn't stop us pursuing our goals. Similar to the last point, it's an incredibly common strategy employed by anxiety sufferers to do their best to avoid the things they feel trigger their anxiety. This is a mistake and a habit that you need to break. By avoiding the things that make us anxious, we simply validate the idea that feeling anxious is the very worst thing that could happen right now. We escalate the threat presented to us by anxiety. Like it or not, the end game of a period of high anxiety, the moment we come out the other side of it, is the moment we realise that there's nothing to fear from feeling anxious. As soon as we can conclude this, we stop creating the high level of anxiety that's based on that fear and return to a more peaceful and functional set of emotional responses. All the time we're avoiding our potential triggers, we perpetuate the concern and extend our period of anxiety. We might avoid those triggers because we're aware of how unpleasant it can be to feel highly anxious or even panicked. But it's worth reminding ourselves that every period of anxiety comes to an end, and the result's the same. We're still alive and we've come to no actual harm. Regular viewers of the channel will know that if someone asks me what is the one piece of advice I advocate as the starting point for reducing anxiety, I always say to stop beating yourself up. Most people that go through high anxiety at some point start to engage in a fair amount of self-castigation. Maybe they're frustrated with themselves for feeling this way and they've had enough, or maybe they think beating themselves up is a good way to inspire a better set of responses. Well, it isn't. If you beat yourself up, you just end up beaten. People don't do their best work shortly after they've been told how poorly they've been doing so far. So don't tell yourself that. Our self-esteem and our anxiety levels are almost directly linked. The better we feel about ourselves, the less challenged we feel by the day-to-day and the less anxious we feel in the face of those challenges. We're more likely to feel able to take the next step if we feel good about how we took our last step. You might be struggling right now, but when we get cut, we don't get upset with our body for bleeding, so don't chastise yourself for struggling emotionally. You're human and you need to allow yourself to be so. Like it or not, the main reason most people perpetuate and exacerbate their anxiety levels is because they're making the mistake of trying to get rid of anxiety completely. Now, this one is worth a video all of its own. So guess what? I made one. I'll link to that video at the end, so make sure you check that one out next. But for now, I really hope this video has been of value. If you have any questions, then put them in the comments below, and of course, let me know your thoughts about what we've been discussing today. Please hit that thumbs up button if you like what I do, and why not subscribe to the channel for weekly mind management tips and anxiety advice. Also, you can now become a member of the channel and receive extra content every week, including video tutorials of my full system for change with extra insights and exclusive live streams. Just hit the join button on the homepage. But that's it for now. I'm Tim Box, Mind Coach. Always remember to be kind to your mind, and I'll see you next time.